Been consistent throughout the tournament. As you can see, 89 points. Kings Canyon was new. It was the first ever tournament that we've hosted on Kings Canyon as well. Playing position, playing placement really, really helped, but they were winning most of their team fight with the Bloodhound scans, the Horizon ultimates. They were always in the perfect position, and they also had Valkyrie to fly to end zones, and they just did it all.
Ramo plays, it's Bardak, Mr. Namka, had a lot of great moments, girl. You know, one of the questions I think this Horizon lineup kind of lends me to ask is the gravity hole, the black hole, really still as powerful as it was when she was kind of at her height maybe last season? The nerfs, have they played a big impact to you so far?
They are still really good, honestly, because of Kings Canyon and the buildings that have a lot of holes inside of them. If you hit a good Horizon ult that's kind of like on top of a roof or under a building, it will not only suck them in, but you can also shoot through the cracks.
That's a great point. We'll bring up more Legend conversation later as we head to the fire range to answer your questions. But heading over to North America, we saw BNB find their bread and butter combos enough. If you're a fighting game fan, you're following me, and we got a lot of those on PlayStation tournaments, to take top spot. CPT just 12 points behind. What was the edge that BNB had over CPT, girl?
Honestly, they do play a different comp. So instead of Crypto, they play Seer. They both play Bangalore and ADMPs on Horizon instead of Ashe. So they have like just a little bit of a spin, but in the end, BNB, I guess, won a little bit more fights, and they actually ended up losing to CPT in a straight-on 3v3 once because they had Edge zoned to their back. So I think it's going to be really fun watching the two of them compete together.
And, you know, you can get a lot done in these tournaments by winning games, but sometimes you have to get a lot done by placing highly and placing consistently. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint, and we know that about Apex. If you can't get the job done immediately, sometimes it's about doing well enough until you can hit your stride, and that's what BNB certainly did. CPT, though, even winning those 3v3, girls, you got to say the lethality is still there. And talk about it, switching over a little bit to CPT and some of the legends that, you know, we've seen not just them, but other winning teams use over the course of this last week. It tells an interesting story. Some Valkyrie, non-existent in North America, essentially. EU, very heavily there.
Yeah, for sure. So for EU, we saw a lot of people play zone. The very first game of Kings Canyon, there were still like 18 teams alive zone 2, which was the complete opposite for NA, and you can kind of see that in the team comps. NA played a lot more aggressively. EU played position, and on Kings Canyon, position matters a lot because there's so many choke points, there's so many places so if you're in that right position and everyone's coming to you, then you could take advantage of that and get all the kills coming in.
Kings Canyon, you know, you tend to love it, you tend to hate it, I think, as an Apex pro, but we definitely love watching it as a competitor. And speaking of competition, one team stood above the rest last season. It was CPT. They backed themselves. They loved the way that they played. Logan, we had a chance to talk with him in dropping in episode 1, and he said to us, "I believe we are going to be the best team. You can put my word on it. You could put money on it. You could put whatever you want on it, because at the end of the day, we're going to be number one." And it was at a time that they weren't number one that he said that. They ended up being number one. That's the type of confidence that they ended up having. And the way Dr. Magic brought the crypto into this lineup, I think really, really helped support them in a way that not many other legends, many other team compositions have put together. And in fact, speaking of Dr. Magic, we have him in the building with us right now. That's what we do in dropping in. We get to talk to your favorite pros and those who are standing out in the competition. Dr. Magic, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I love to be here. I was watching earlier all the clips, and it was phenomenal. All the flashbacks to all the fights and the intense moments and the screaming and the cheering that we were doing within our own comms. It was great.
You know, I did kind of want to get you to expand on that. Season 1, a bit of a roller coaster. You were battling with so many teams, fake Preds, and of course yourself kind of vying for the top a lot, but you ended up winning. Walk me through just that Season 1 and that kind of championship moment that you all experienced.
Well, for us, it was more so we're we're very fortunate to be very similar, like-minded people. We all want to be the best at whatever it is that we do. Um, all three of us. So once we got that mindset down, and we were able to enter the tournaments first and foremost, um, we got to see who we were competing against, and we got to adapt slowly and slowly. You know, we loved fighting fake preds. The fights, the 3v3s were great. The 3v3s with BNB were fun, but every time we have a 3v3, every time we come into a situation, we tend to adapt. Oh, hey, what did we do wrong? Even if we won the gunfight, how could we win it quicker? You know, and we just apply that mindset and apply that mentality to each and every game going forward. And one wonderful thing about the three of us is I think we do better under pressure than we would if you were just to say, hey, hop on, let's play a little bit. But if you put the pressure on the line, you see completely different people.
I love that. I love that. I love hearing that from you. You know, how can I do that better? Not a lot of people ask themselves that after they win a fight. They normally ask themselves that only after they lose a fight. So I really, really love that from you guys as a team. What makes your teammates, what are the best attributes that you think your teammates have?
Oh, okay. I love the fact that we can all work together and everyone's opinion is voiced and heard. Everyone can make a recommendation to our general game plan. You know, we all have our individual strengths and weaknesses where we all excel. Um, but if one person makes a suggestion, everyone takes a pause to think about it, and then we either execute or we don't. Um, Curiosity is a phenomenal IGL. Logan's a phenomenal Slayer. You know, they're the quick ones to go in, put the teams down. I help more with the rotations, so they help me out with those type of smart calls. If you see us in a good spot, you usually catch me calling out the rotation. If you see crazy smoke plays, that was all Curiosity and Logan. We had some fun in the last wild card day where we couldn't believe we won either. Where we pushed, I believe it was Titans with smoke and an Ash portal, and we came out winning that 3v3. It was insane.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I really enjoyed watching that. I thought I was like, they're doomed. And then Ash Portal in a smoke. I wouldn't have thought of that myself.
But yeah, we were all clutching up, calling it out. Everyone was tight, and then as soon as we went through, it was game on. It was fun.
That's a great experience to have, and obviously winning in the championship had to have been fantastic for you all to just, I think, reiterate the strengths that you have and the way that you've been showing up each and every time that you go out to play. It's certainly well deserved. But for someone who has no idea what to do on a crypto, you seem to have a pretty good idea yourself. And I think for everyone watching as well, wanting to get deeper into what your role is competitively, especially playing crypto, since we don't get to talk to a lot of crypto professionals, that would be great for you to expand on here.
Sure. So my main function is to find out where we need to rotate to, where we find out end game to win this game. How do we need to play this map? Crypto is very easy with that. You can scan all your beacons. You should be doing that instantly. And then also, he's very, very underrated when it comes to aggressing another team. A favorite of ours is EMP pushes, which is why we run the Ash. So as soon as you get EMP, there's already an Ash right on top of you, and the whole team's there. The hard part is with most people who play crypto is you need to be a little more. You need to be close. You need to be in a position to play off of your teammates once you set the aggression. So once the EMP goes off, you can't be in the back. You can't be far from where the Ash portal is. You got to communicate with your teammates. The scans help too, even though it's pretty easy to shoot out the drone. But the scans do come pretty helpful if you can place it. And then something that I do personally, every couple 10, 15 seconds, I'm on that thing, look at how many squads are around, where people, is it something we can fight? Is it something we don't fight? I feed all the information to Curiosity, Logan, and we all come to a conclusive decision based off what we got around us. That's pretty much how I play.
Yeah, there's a lot of communication involved. Yeah, there's a lot of communication involved with crypto, being in the right position. Like you said, it's really hard to be really close to your team and push right after an EMP, but you have to be in a safe position before you pull out your drone or you're going to get shot from someone right around or your back. So it's definitely a very complex legend to play. So good on you for doing that so well. Do you think that your continuation of the crypto and the same team comp will net you more wins now that you have like a little bit of a new competitor in the scene right now, BNB? Taking first and you guys
Um,
taking second?
I think so. We do a lot of practice with our characters and with who plays what essentially.
Mm.
In a lot of PC scrims, we'll do a lot of that. We also do that. We want to prep for the next AOG cycle, so maybe we'll be the only console team there. But so
Nice.
All right.
we definitely do a lot of pre-game practice to see whose play style suits what character better. Um, we had a good wild card day. B&B did a good job. Um, Unfortunately, our last game we were all in the zone for 8 hours. So by the time we got to where we needed to be, all everybody was already dead, and it was too late pretty much to secure a win because we got the short end of the stick. So we've swapped characters. We've made adjustments to that. We've already talked about that, how we could improve from that. And it'd be fun to see them Saturday. It'd be fun to see Fake Pred Saturday too, and a whole bunch of other people I think that couldn't make it. But of course, we all strive to be the best that we can be at anything that we play. So we're going to try to win every single time.
I love it, man. The determination is there. The self-evaluation is there, too. I feel like that's maybe one of the things that has stood out to me, the ability for you all to analyze yourselves pretty objectively in order to get a better outcome next time without the ego, without the need to have been right. And in order to be right when you really care about it later on, that's the grand finals. I want to get a little bit, though, into your life outside of Apex. We love to ask this question to all of the people that, we get a chance to interview on dropping in. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you like to do, maybe some hobbies, or just let the people who are watching, fans of you and CPT, know a little bit more about Dr. Magic.
Sure. So I work full time. I work in finance, but I like to. What are some things I like to do? I power lift. I've been doing that since I was a teenager. I love doing that. I hope to
Oh,
compete in that
okay.
regard one day.
Wow.
That'll be fun. Probably next year though. Nothing anytime soon. Um, I like to travel. I've been all over the Northeast. I've been all over the South. I've been West Coast. I want to check out. My next stop would probably be New Orleans. I want to see
Ooh.
the city life down there and see all that. Um, but yeah, I'm a little older, so working full time, gaming in the hobbies and then exercise. Try to make as most of my time as I can. And whenever I pick up something new, try to do it to perfection.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Magic. It has been great having you with us on the show. We appreciate you, and good luck in season 2.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Have a good one.
Oh, it's been great having Dr. Magic alongside GuhRL. I mean, great guy. Seems like he's very down to earth. Also, I love the approach that they have on how they figure out their problems.
Yeah, he has the same approach to in-game and real life, like he likes to move around, self-evaluate, do things, try new things, get better at them in-game and in real life. And that's a good way to be, honestly.
I thought you were going to say he likes to EMP people in real life. I was like, no, he's in
No.
finance. He's not an ambulance driver, all right? He's not doing that. No, but at the end of the day, Dr. Magic, he's a fun guy. And, he gave us some great insight on his role and the roles of Curiosity and Logan and how they work together as a squad. And if you want to get better at Apex Legends, let me tell you, you better understand what role you play and what role you excel at. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, well, here's a video for you. If you want to succeed in Apex Legends, you should understand squad roles. The scout is the team's initiator. They're the first person into battle and provide crucial information to their teammates.
Using grapple.
The fragger's role is simple: deal damage. They use their raw aim and abilities to play off the scout's info and win team fights. The support is often the most passive player on the team. They play defensive Legends, anchoring the team's position and saving squad mates when things get dicey.
All right, let's do this thing.
The IGL is the team captain. They make decisions, call for rotations, and have the final say on the battlefield.
Follow my lead.
The IGL is usually the team scout, though some IGL shine in support or fragger roles.
Hell yeah. This ends now.
Choose your role and compete.
Fantastic.
Sign up for Season 2 of the Master Circuit and look out for our series for the best legends for each role. When it comes to Apex Legends, there's many levels of competition around the world going on all simultaneously. It's what I love about this esport. And what's even more important is when you love esports, you realize it's not just about who wins, it's about the stories of the people who win. And more importantly, how they get to that position in the first place and what's going on in their mind when we're on the other side of the screen, reacting, cheering, sometimes crying, but most of the time enjoying ourselves either way, seeing their triumph and maybe their defeat. This next story is someone who has not only not been in the biggest stage before, but has never seen a stage like it and didn't expect to be there. But after a magical call, a magical, unfortunate moment that allowed him access to play, and then, of course, a magical moment on stage, became one of the biggest names in the ALGS competitive scene. Of course, if you're following me, you know I'm talking about Rambo. We had a chance in this episode of Dropping In to catch up with him and hear his story.
So I got into Apex Legends actually right around when COVID started. I was in grad school at Florida State University, and right when I started playing, I got up to number 3 in the world, like right out of the gate, like instantly. So right then, I would say I knew I was pretty good, you know, in a top 0.0100001% of the player base. And then I ended up joining Torrent, and the rest is history. Torrent, we didn't qualify for the ALGS championships this year, so we were allowed to be COVID subs for teams. So the GMT guys I was already like very good friends with, so they asked me to be their COVID sub, and so I did. I signed the paperwork to do it. The whole scenario was a little bit crazy. I showed up to Raleigh, I want to say Wednesday, and the tournament started on Thursday. I went to just watch the event and to honestly, you know, party a little bit with a bunch of, you know, my fellow streamers, my friends, you know. And Thursday morning, I got a call that Matey, one of the players on GMT, got COVID. So I would have to step in and play. And remember, I got the call at like 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning, just my phone getting spammed. I was like, what is going on? And I was out the door in like 5 seconds.
As Fnatic now has a two-man spot. GMT playing outside of this building. Nasky loses out. I think he was in the circle for far too long.
The Spitfire is popping. It's Sir down. It's gonna go big. Rambo on controller takes out Fnatic. 5 kills for Rambo.
I remember we were in the building, and then I think Fnatic was down low, and then there was a team above them, and then the team above dropped and, you know, started fighting Fnatic. So we went to third party. We were kind of struggling cleaning it up for a little bit. And Dell and Nasky got, you know, knocked relatively kind of quickly, and then I was left in a 1v1 situation. And yeah, I was no lie, in those tournaments, in those scenarios, when you're in like 1v1 situations or in like high pressure scenarios, your heart just starts pounding, just racing. I ended up killing the guy, and I was like super pumped. I was super excited because I knew. I clutched up and got us to top 3.
Without popping bubble, they're gonna have bubble late here. Here comes the drop from Cloud9. It all comes down to this. NRG, Cloud9. You see Sweet right now with the Volt in his hand. He connects for 80, but he's down to 1 HP. He gets knocked. Cloud9 performing, but Rambo is alive. Rambo is gonna queue his way up and find a way to survive, and Rambo wins. Rambo is a monster.
I remember Nasky got knocked and he got finished. So it was just me and Dell, and we were in the corner. You know, in that situation, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of like, we're probably not gonna win the game. You know, as a player, you try to always, you know, be positive, like, oh, we might win this, but, you know, at some point you gotta be real with yourself, like, we're in between, you know, 2 superstar teams, and we're a 2-man, and they're both 3-man, so I knew really the only opportunity for us to do anything was for me to, like, fly up and to just try and stall for time and, you know, let the 2 other teams fight. And then I pop a bat on the top, and then as soon as I land, I see like everything in front of me. I see like them fighting in front of me. It's like a perfect situation. Like I couldn't have asked for anything better. And as I was flying down, I saw that C9 wiped NRG, and it was just Zach Mazer left. And I'm pretty sure he was pretty weak from the fight. So yeah, I was flying down. I had the flat line and just started spraying and praying, you could say. And my shots clicked, and he died. And I'll never forget that moment. To be honest with you, that is probably the best moment of my life right there, like the coolest moment. My soul legit left my body when I clutched up and I won, and the lights went on me and the camera went on me, and I was just like, whoa, like, you know, just going crazy. The feeling of that is something I'll remember for the rest of my life. It was truly amazing. I rewatched the clip of that play every so often. You know, I remember the day after I watched that clip like 100 times. You know, there's nothing like LAN, like the experience of LAN in person when you clutch up or you make a play like that. Everybody, like to hear everybody screaming, or like I think people were like chanting my name at one point. It's just like, it's so surreal. It's just like something that, you know, potentially might never happen again, you know, like an experience like that.
What an incredible story, girl. And honestly, one of the greatest things about that moment for me is the unexpected kind of call up to greatness. We didn't even qualify. I'll make myself available. And then look at what happens when you make yourself available to opportunities. Some of the most amazing life-changing moments can occur, and it certainly was. They got 5th place in that tournament, which granted them $120,000. And he wasn't even going to participate, girl. I mean, what did you take away from that interview?
Honestly, we see it happen a lot in Apex and at the LAN events, because Reignite also had a sub the first LAN event, and they did exceptionally well. They got 1st place, and now we see it with GMT. They also have a sub from a different region, and they did really well. I feel like this team had so much good energy, and it was really nice to watch that clutch. No one expected it. Was the LAN event really like quiet while they were, you know, in midair, and then at the end it exploded? How did that feel being there, Raynday? I wasn't there,
wow.
so I don't know the feeling.
I mean, the energy, electric doesn't do it justice. It was the most exciting event I've ever been a part of in my life. And the crazy thing is, I feel like it's only going to get bigger over the course of Apex Esports, especially the championship specifically. But I think it was just a moment of surrealism crashing into reality. You know, this esport hasn't been live in a LAN for a moment like that since its inception. And to do it on that kind of stage, the crowd was never not allowed. It was never not present. You could feel it physically, chemically, how important this moment was. And it's one of the things about, I think, humanity that's very interesting, how when a group of people come together that's bigger than you and all experience something, whether it's a concert, a show, a live esport moment, it takes on an otherworldly experience. And to me, that moment with Rambo, knowing what it meant to him, knowing what it meant to GMT, and knowing it was a sub, and just so humble about it. To me, it's something I'll never forget for sure. And I'm certainly understanding why he watched it like 100 times in a row, Rambo. Nobody's mad. Yeah, girl, you would have been doing the same thing, I bet, huh?
100%. The next day I would have been more views, you know, like, oh my goodness, that's just something you could never expect, especially when 2 of your teammates are downed in a grand finals, where anyone could push you, but neither of the teams wanted to leave their spot. And then this duo ended up beating them both. Like him flying at that perfect moment because of the gas was ticking him, and then dropping and hitting those hip fire shots midair. Sheesh, that was awesome.
Sheesh. And yeah, I mean, it was just great being at LAN. And honestly, I think Rambo was right in the spirit. If you didn't make LAN, you got to go next time, because not only will you see great moments, but you'll have great experiences. You know, I would walk up to stage back and forth, and I would hear people yelling out, "Raynday, yo, it's Raynday, Raynday, say whatever." And I was like, this is crazy. This is really unreal, because you see these people interacting in our chat online. You forget these are real people watching, caring, supporting. And so seeing them all together in person, it was a phenomenal experience. I can only imagine what would happen if girls showed up. I think the whole tournament would break loose. I think everyone would just, you know, we'd have to have security around her. I'm pretty sure if she showed up, she would be that big of a star. But you know who was a big star? Jen Burton, back, one of the biggest content creators in Apex Legends, and he was back with Dark Zero. What a story for them to win as Reignite without him in Sweden. Then 2 months later, girl, win with him as a full squad for championships and get that $500,000 prize pool and the clear #1 in the world.
Yeah, this was an incredible moment. They played so incredibly well. They dodged the Gibraltar ulti. They put themselves in the best position to play in this end zone. I feel like there's only 1 or 2 spots you could play to really win this one out, and them winning 2 LANs back to back, you can see it on Jen Burton's face, you can see it on all their faces. Like, they're so exceptionally happy, and they deserved this win. They got themselves there. And it was such like a heart beating moment. Look at them. And you were telling me about his dad being there and very supportive as well. It's such a great story to hear.
You know, Jim Burton's dad, for those who don't know this, I met him the very first day. His dad told me, Jim Burton and these guys, watch, they will win this tournament. First day, haven't even played. He was mad. Jim Burton was mad that they were on the second stage, because he's a big name. These guys won. They were on the second stage all of day one. They had to play 18 games not in front, essentially, of that crowd. And Jim Burton's dad was saying, wait, be patient, don't worry, he'll have his time. And he was absolutely right. You're like, wow, I need to ask this guy, what stocks to invest in, or what's going to happen next week, so I can know what the weather is, because he clearly knew the vision, and it came true. That was such a sweet moment, and to see them celebrate afterwards, that was really fun as well. The LGS Championships, though, what a special time, and they taught us a lot about Apex Legends. Girl, however, in a moment, we're actually going to have an opportunity to talk about Apex Legends now and Season 14, some Vantage action, some weapon meta action, some Legend action, all that coming up in just a moment. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to our second episode of Dropping In. This is one of my favorite segments here, Raynday and GuhRL with you, where we get to chat Apex, answer your questions in the Twitch chat or on our Twitter that you have asked us, and go over some of our favorite things in the current meta to give you an update on what's important in Apex Legends and what you should be paying attention to. Also, our opinions as content creators and players and casters as to what we like and what we think players will be playing with. And, girl, let's start it off with the newest legend in Apex Legends, Vantage. I've got her right here in the firing range. You know what I love? I love that this legend brings a lot of different varieties. See, I can miss with this. I can miss with this. But I've got this, and I'll be able to aim much better with this bad boy. Let's talk a little bit, girl, about what she brings to the table, what her abilities are, because she was a different legend than, we've seen before, really, in Apex.
Yeah, so the main thing that everyone notices is her sniper, right? So her sniper's mark, use your custom sniper rifle to mark enemy targets and apply damage bonus for you and your team. So everyone gets a bonus, but you also highlight them once you hit them. And I feel like the great thing about her sniper is it only takes time to get more ammo to shoot. So if you end up playing like end zone and you're down on ammo, well, you always have a gun to rely on that outputs a lot of damage. And not only that, but her relocation, echo relocation, is so good on Kings Canyon. Especially because there's so many third parties, there's people coming in from left and right, and you can just use her to get out of a sticky situation. Yeah, take a look at this. It's quick, you can get up in the air, and then you can jump left to right, wherever you want to go, so you can pick. So if there's a lot of buildings around you, you can kind of juke your opponent by using the relocation, and I find that so useful. It's so smooth as well, but the sniper really does it for me. And her having like the damage output and the mobility, beautiful. I think she can scan beacons too.
Yeah, and she can. That's the other thing that I love about it. So she's got that mobility. She's got that third weapon, which is great. Obviously, you can see down there, she's also got this passive, which many people don't really know much about. What it does is it gives you the information on the shielding. And I think that is one of the interesting things about it. When they have a shield that's normal, not on these dummies, you'll be able to see how many players and what shields they have just with this bit of information, also the distance away from them. And you'll also, when you shoot them, like the girl said, tag them for an extra bit of damage that you and your teammates can take advantage of. And it becomes a very big, kind of deal when you have a coordinated push, like Dr. Magic was saying on Crypto. You can see how that 13 goes to 14 when I have the tag on this character. So it's a really nice little bit that she adds to the table, and you can get aggressive in many different ways, different weapons. But I love the point you made about always having a weapon girl, and that to me kind of leads me into my first impressions on Vantage. And like, I wasn't really excited about her, to be honest. I thought she was cool to be a sniper, but I thought, there's no way she's going to have a competitive element to her. I kind of started to shift my opinion. I actually really started liking Vantage after a while. And I want to know your first impressions and kind of where you ended up with this character. Did you like her at first? Do you see more potential in her now that you've had a chance to play her more?
So right when she first came out, you know me, I like to play ranked all the time, every day. So I ended up trying her out. Instead of in pubs, instead of in the range that much, I tried her out in ranked. And my teammates weren't very happy with me. I was missing my sniper shots, I was having a bad day. But I did this, I'm doing this thing where I play one legend a day, and I just focus on playing that legend in ranked on that day or whatever I'm playing. And I played her, and I had so much fun. Her sniper, amazing. I was hitting every shot. And her relocation, like I said, Kings Canyon, you can get around buildings. I just had a very good time. And I personally, on the same boat as you, I can actually see her being played in a competitive aspect, especially since she can do so much damage in a short amount of time and kind of kill steal. Like, imagine her at the top of Barometer. She would do so well. Like, you've seen Scars play there, you've seen Mandy play there with a charge rifle. Well, imagine him doing 150 damage in just 2 seconds with her sniper rifle. I think she could be very useful.
Well, I love that conversation too, because it kind of leads me into what I like to have when, we have mid-range kind of marksman weapons kind of coming into play. And that's where I think maybe some people have gotten confused, or maybe there's been just like a hesitation on which is really the best, knowing that the G7 Scout has been out and like irrelevant for so long, when every single time this weapon has come in to the meta has been one of the best weapons in the game, bar none. Everyone has eventually gone back to this weapon. And I wonder if you think that the 30-30 repeater and the skull piercer ability of that is going to have a kind of a fighting chance to maintain what was happening in the championships, which is becoming a very meta marksman kind of assault rifle style that you can use from long range and has some decent up close pressure. But I'm going to go with this. My opinion is the G7 always ends up winning. I don't think it's going to be different, even though the 30-30 repeater has so much. And I just partially think that it's because of the duality of the firing aspect up close. See how quickly that this thing fires, and the ability for you to kind of be up and down and still be doing so much damage, but also the fact that you can whiff more and still have presence. And I think that girl is something you could speak on a lot. When you're in a competitive situation, having presence from range is a very important thing.
I absolutely agree. I feel like if you have teammates that run the wingman, they're going to want the skull piercer anyways over a teammate with a 30-30 repeater. And in the PlayStation Master Circuit, I know you missed the first week, but there were so many G7 scouts that you're right, that people do prefer it over the 30-30 repeater. And there's even a gold G7 Scout in caustic treatment, so it just makes it even better. It's just so fun to play, and I feel exactly the way you feel. You can miss some shots and still do a lot of presence, but also the hip firing with it, close range, I feel like I 100% agree with you on that.
I mean, and just hitting one headshot, right? I mean, that changes everything so quickly. If you double headshot, look how fast you take someone down just like that. I mean, you could try to do that with 30-30, but because of that time, it feels like it's insignificant, but that's enough time for someone to crouch, move, adjust, right? These little things actually end up making a big difference. And so unless you're really trusting that aim and able to go frenetically in those high-paced situations, a lot of times, kind of just spamming ends up being a safer route 9 times out of 10. Now, I want to talk to you about our tweets. Girl, we had a couple people answer our tweet in our Twitch chat. Like, what have they said?
Yeah, so we've got comments, we've got questions. Let's do a little bit of both. Someone said, let me get in the tournament. All right, how can you get in the tournament, Raynday?
You can go to compete.playstation.com. That is where you will find all of the ability to sign up to get notified on when we're doing these tournaments and how to participate. So for anyone who's interested in getting involved in these tournaments and maybe doing well in the tournaments and then maybe ending up on a show like this, a PlayStation official show, go to compete.playstation.com. It always starts there, and you can sign up and get involved today.
Yeah, not only do they have Apex Legends tourneys, but they also have other tournaments as well. So definitely make sure you check it out. Tell your friends about it, because even though they might not play Apex Legends, they might play another tournament there on the website. We've also got some questions. I'm going to read off by A. Tony Romero.
Oh,
Will
Tony.
We ever Will we ever get another legend that heals/supports similar to Lifeline? If not another healing legend, what can be changed to Lifeline to add a little more value to her? You got any thoughts on that, Raynday?
Girl, I'm actually going to let you answer that one because I want to see your thoughts on where Lifeline stands. Would you ever use her competitively? What would it take to use her in your ranked games or high level?
So a lot of people compare Lifeline to the newer legend, Newcastle. They took away Lifeline's revive shield. I don't know if you remember. A lot of people might. She had a shield, and then they gave Newcastle, not only did they give Newcastle a shield, but also he can move the legend as he revives. So Lifeline not only doesn't have a shield, but so her advantage, I guess, is that she can shoot while her teammate is getting revived, auto-revived. But she definitely would need a change. I would say maybe if the person getting revived is immune while getting revived, that could definitely be an option. Maybe a little shield, or getting her shield back, that would be a good start. They did a really good job updating her ultimate. I feel like it gives really good loot later on in the game. It could even give a gold armor, so that's really nice. But other than that, we did talk about it actually in ranked the other day that Lifeline would be really cool if she could place her drone in the storm where it doesn't just disappear after 2 ticks. So that could also definitely be an adjustment to Lifeline.
It's interesting because we're dealing with problems that we've been trying to solve for a character who's a legacy character. And for those who don't know, I mean, if you have a legacy character that is really successful with a base kit, it's going to take a long time to get that character out of the mix, a la Wraith. They had to change Wraith a lot in Apex Legends, and that's just a part of that process. But when you have a character who hasn't been in the mix for a while, who has a legacy kit, reworking a character takes a lot of time, and it's very, very time extensive. Think about it. You can have a certain amount of people designing characters, programming characters, rigging characters, modeling characters, or you can take a lot of that time and put it into old characters, reworking abilities. And so the question is, what makes it so important for a character like Lifeline to get reworked versus applying that to a new legend that, obviously brings new hype, brings new cosmetics, brings new interesting elements to the game? I think, Tony, we have a better chance of seeing a new healing-like character coming in rather than Lifeline ever really changing her role as a legend, because I think ultimately there's more that's valued in the newer legend coming in. But hey, I'd love to see Lifeline keep getting adjusted. It's clear they keep trying to. It's clear the community likes her, so you never know. Community can be a very strong motivator.
And to talk a little bit more about a new legend, I know a lot of people have been asking for an AoE healer or a long-range healer where you could target your teammate and try and heal them that way. So I really personally thought that was a fun idea. But let's go on to another question. What's the ideal training regimen to get better at Apex? Should I be practicing with specific characters or on specific maps?
Wow. Well, my go-to for everyone, and I just actually had a friend start playing Apex Legends, my go-to is that you have 2 routes. You could take 2 routes to do this. You could play on every single character and every single map and kind of say, I'm learning about this game as a process. But as long as you have the mentality to know that I'm going to adjust my performance while I'm learning, because you then keep having to learn different abilities and learn different areas and learn different looting patterns. So you're getting a wide breadth of knowledge, but not very specific on how to manage, specific situations. Or what I tend to like to do is pick one legend in one area and hyper focus on it. And why I do that is because if you're able to get really good at, say, Lifeline, and you're getting really good at Kings Canyon, when you then have someone 2v1 push you, or you deal with working from outside a good position in the zone, you're not worrying about, okay, where's the building that I run into in the situation? How do I use my abilities in a situation like this? What you're worried about is now tactically you can kind of evolve into the bigger picture of the game. And though you don't have experience on, Mirage or Octane, you're now learning higher level tactics a little bit faster. And your reset is going to have to come now through the legend abilities and the choices after that. So for me, I like going specific, girl, but I think you could go both ways, and as long as your mindset's right for either, you'll end up doing well and improving each day.
Yeah, I think so as well. There are definitely different ways to improve, and you kind of get to look at it yourself individually. What are you best at? Are you better at shooting over strategy, or are you better at strategy over shooting? What do you personally need to improve on? Let's go with one more question.
Let's do it. Okay.
Let me choose. How do you avoid getting frustrated when grinding ranked and want to climb?
Oh, girl, that's probably one that you have a lot of experience on.
I could take that one for sure. So I play a lot. I don't get frustrated that often anymore, actually, because I play a lot. I lose a lot, win sometimes. But honestly, same thing applies to life. Getting frustrated, you gotta take the good out of that frustration. So why are you frustrated? You're frustrated because you lost, right? So how can you get better? Think, okay, if you figure out what you could have done in that situation better, then you can move on happier. If you don't figure out your mistakes and you're constantly losing, but you're not really thinking as to why or improving, then you're kind of stuck in a little rut. So first of all, rank doesn't matter. What matters is your personal improvement from game to game. Because if you focus on that, if you focus daily on just the little things, then your rank will go up automatically no matter what. You're getting better, you're going to play better, you're going to shoot better, you're going to get better results. So avoid frustration, avoid the image of, hey, platinum this season, or hey, gold this season and I'm stuck and I wish I was diamond and cool, You don't really need to think like that. You just need to work on yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. And if you're a solo queuer, because I know there are a lot of solo queuers out there, the biggest thing I could recommend is using your mic, dropping safe, or taking a 50-50, but with voice comms. If you have the ability to use voice comms, voice comming is important. And if you could take the lead, if no one else is taking the lead, there has to be something that can kind of unite the team into like one, so that you can play better. And this season especially, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of third partying. So Yeah, it's really a season where you have to focus on your gunfights.
Well, I think this is a great thing, and kind of just to add that last little point into what Girl said, frustration is often a very powerful motivator in many ways. It's also sometimes a great thing that will allow you to channel good behavior if you use that frustration, shift into a positive action, and then get rewarded afterwards, which I think is ultimately where we want to see you take your skills. It's not about where you are today. It's about, are you improving? And it is about also realizing that your journey is your own journey. Like, get your own understanding of where you really are, honestly, and work to just get better. I love that Girl said that. And I love Dr. Magic and their CPT's approach as well, who we talked to earlier on today, who said basically the same thing. We always look at how we can improve, and it's not about getting frustrated. It's about using that, oh, we want to be better, and putting it into a positive action. So we wish you the best. Hopefully it's not too frustrating. We know that could be upsetting, but we definitely are excited that you are watching the show and hopefully picking some learning up as we go. Well, Girl, this has been an amazing show. We've got so many things coming up. Let's talk about them, because not only today is dropping in, a few days after this, we have got our wild card, day number 2 for our master circuit, heading into September 10th. Make sure to stay tuned for that and join us all day long. We will be going through our regions and seeing if CPT can bounce back and take the top spot over BMB, and who will show up in Europe. Also, September 16th, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate will have a Fight Night Invitational, and we will have our Apex Legends Master Circuit September 24th for our wild card number 3. I will not be at that one. I will be, however, on the September 10th one. So I'm excited to be casting that again with you, Girl. And before we close the show, I want to give it a big shout out to you, and thank you so much for being a part of it, being my partner in crime on this. Any last words or any comments before we head out today?
I'm super excited to be there with you on the 10th. I definitely have to send my dad a birthday gift, though, because that's his birthday and I'll be working all day. But no, I definitely told him I would see him in the morning. So it'll all work out just fine. Really excited for your first time to see Kings Canyon. So everyone stay tuned. Make sure you hit the follow button before you leave if you haven't already. And follow all of PlayStation socials. Follow our socials and stay up to date on everything happening in PlayStation.
At Hey Girl on Twitter, at Raynday Gaming on Twitter as well, and make sure at PlayStation, all things PlayStation. We thank you so much for being a part of this one, guys, and we are so excited to catch you in our next episode of Dropping In. We'll have more information on that later on. Of course, my name has been Raynday. That's been Girl. I'm blessed to be back. Happy to be with y'all, and we will make sure to see you next time. Remember to never give up, never stop gaming. See you then.